Not too much. I guess we were going to do a typing session, right?
I think so. I'm going to be quite honest with you. The person that reached out to me that said what we were doing, they kind of they meant well, I think, but the way they explained it didn't really make any sense to me. They said I'm going to be typing or something about typing two famous people, and I was just like, okay, because I'll kind of do anything. But if you want to explain to me exactly what's going on, I'd love to hear.
Uh, let's see. If I understand exactly, we're supposed to be watching a couple of videos and typing a celebrity of some kind.
Okay, do I get to pick one? Because I really
like they do on the CSJ, like CSJ does, kind of thing.
I've never watched him. I just hear about him. I kind of just like, this guy's crazy.
Yeah.
This I guess what you're saying is we pick out famous people a piece, because I do have one in mind that a lot of people disagree with me on. And
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like good, right? If I can pick a character, because I do have a character.
Okay, you're picking a character?
If I'm allowed to, I would love to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because I guess, you know, what I'm saying is if y'all already have preset people y'all want to review, that is totally fine. But it sounded like the person that came to me said that, essentially, I am going to be picking, I can pick one person that we all review, and then y'all could pick somebody. That is how I thought it. And frankly, the person I would pick that I would like to analyze, if we can do fictional characters as well, is probably Light Yagami. A lot of people think he's LSI, and I think there's no damn way. I think there's...
Light Yagami. Let's see. Oh, no, he's not. He's not that. No, he's not LSI.
Yeah, but if you, the funny thing about this is if you go on PDB and say that very same thing, you will be met with a lot of statistics that would say otherwise. Now we know PDB is flawed, but there is... What type do you think he is, maybe?
ILI probably.
Okay. You think he is ILI?
Yeah, something tells me that.
Huh. Okay. So what is the argument you have for FE Polar and Light Yagami?
It's not necessarily an argument for FE Polar per se.
That's totally fine, yeah.
Other than to say that, I don't believe that the polars work the way that people typically say they do,
totally
necessarily. Yeah. So, I mean, it does not appear to be something that he really values at all, period, though. You know, he doesn't care about the actual people involved. He cares about the vision. You know what I mean?
Okay. I just, frankly, that's what's kind of funny here is I actually do believe he is another type. I think at least the only other type besides this one that I could entertain is LIE, and that gets killed. Kind of why I don't think he's Gamma or LII or ILI either is because I frankly do not see how he values TE in the way that, like, it's there with him, but it's just something that I think genuinely he has more of. It's not something that's that much of a value. I think that people watch the show and they see him doing this and that, and they're like, he's putting things together, he's piecing things together, he's simplifying, he's doing the TE stuff and practically applying his plan of mass destruction. I get that. But what I'm saying is that the way I view it is that if he was truly a TE Dom or like valued it whatsoever, and I'm not saying that you're saying he's TE Dom, I realized how ILI works, but I'm just saying simply, if he was TE valuing, in my humble opinion, I don't think he would have gotten the Death Note, had a very good career set up. I think he would have just done this and kind of just went about his way to make himself rich. I think that, and I'm not doing the stereotypical TE means rich. I'm just simply saying before he got the Death Note, he was going to do that very thing. He was going to go to school, go through college, be the police guy, try to get to the top of the field in that. So I think if he was a TE guy, he would have legitimately done this and because he would have basically been able to act free. I think that's the big thing, and why I kind of tie that into, I think he's SI polar, quite frankly. I think that is like one of the most showing things with him. I think FE base is, I think that's it. Honestly, I think he's EIE as fuck, and I have like so many reasons why throughout the show. He's like the EIE of all EIEs in my opinion. And the way people maybe think EIE and they're like, okay, it's, you know, the Hitler being able to rally people and stuff like this. But essentially Light is in a position where through no point of the show can he actually talk to people as though they can do nothing to him. He is afraid to be arrested, but everybody that he talks to with the entire show, he is basically influencing their emotion. Through conversation, through whatever means. Even if he's trying to threaten or make somebody scared, like in the last episode. In the last episode, he's basically in front of everybody saying, you know, he's not even really trying to convince them of anything. He is just, that is his thing. And I think it's, I'll wrap this up. I'm sorry I'm monologuing. We could talk more in length. But the fact that he has that, like, presence over everybody, the emotional wherewithal, and just quite a little stereotypically, but it also does tie into like a little bit of what he's actually wanting to do but can't say because he can't. In his entire inner monologue of the entire show, he basically sounds like an overdramatic theater kid.
Now, wait. What if he's not either? What if he's an SEE?
I think with that, now I do like entertaining other stuff, and I'm not trying to kill Gamma Quadra. We could talk about if he's EII and just some weird types, and I would totally entertain it, just for me personally. Let's go through. Okay, so we see SE base, and then we have F. Okay, so what makes you say FI creative first and foremost?
Well, I mean, he does seem to be going about it in the way that he sees that it is he who needs to be the master of the plan. You know, he needs to be the guy who changes things because everything isn't doing what it should be doing. So he's got to manipulate everything to be what it needs to be in order to see his vision come true. You know what I mean?
Yes. I do get what you're saying, but one thing I will make, you know, you probably are aware of too, it's, you know, through a sizable portion of the show, about a third of the way, he does not even have the ability to really kill. He is not even in control of the plan, really, because, you know, we know he gave up his memories. He essentially said, I am not going to be doing anything with this except trying to look innocent. And I get that maybe that's a little misguided, because in real life there's not these crazy things at play, so SE being the one that's doing the things has to feel in charge all the time. I don't know. It's just, it would seem a little weird for me personally for an SE base to just completely be like, look, I'm going to give up all the power I have in the world to some random guy to kind of fulfill my plan. And two, it's just, frankly, I don't think his NI could be that low of dimensionality either. I think that it's pretty much the entire show, the spiritual tie-ins with the, you know, the fucking Ryuk just showing up, and that's very surface level NI understanding. The keep on going with this long plan for this very ethereal and symbolic idea of being God, and it's also masterfully crafted. That's why, honestly, like, I wouldn't be mad at people that say LIE, because it makes sense. It's just not it. I also think that one is like kind of some stuff that kills it. Frankly, for me, EIE just makes, there's literally not a single thing about the function stack that isn't like objectively shown of him in the show. I think he's the biggest EIE who has ever lived, quite frankly.
So, are we comparing him to examples like, say, Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure or something? Or what exactly do you mean?
Ooh. Well, frankly, I just, with Light Yagami, that's kind of where I view him. I have not seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but if you want to bring up a fictional character and we could talk about it, that'd be totally cool.
See, it's hard to really pin him down because there seems to be more than one thing at play within his character, right? Yeah, he is a written character. So.
There are a bunch of things. And also, too, if you want me to give specific... You seem like a very, like, logical guy, so often people don't like hearing my points. They're like, this guy's just spurging. So, first and foremost, I apologize that I'm long-winded. But it's real. I do feel passionate about this, and I love typology. So,
Yeah.
With him,
Same.
I like typology. I think it gets it's kind of a little weird sometimes, but still with him, like so let's actually with EIE. So again, the N, I, and the FE just straight up. I think he's doing that the entire show. So like for me to give examples, we could literally go episode 1, 2, 3. I could probably do 8 examples in each one, quite frankly. But then we look at other things like the SI polar. Frankly, this one is really like obvious when you think about it like this. Because at first when I learned socionics, I thought SI simply meant the ability to do small, kind of meaningless tasks with your hands. Like I genuinely thought that was it because nobody explained it to me. Come to find out that SI really just means that somebody, it can have to do with that in regards to paying attention to the intricacies of stuff. But really it's just all about having some sort of like more or less physical tie-in, but also can kind of be just wellness and stability. It's the comfort and homeostasis. Essentially just, it's a thing that we all know what it means, but it's kind of hard to verbalize. That's what SI is. And frankly, the fact that this man could have literally lived the most cushy, comfortable life in existence, in his parents' bedroom, not having to do anything, getting paid to go through college and just have a good job and live just very comfortably, that is not what he did at all. He literally got this notebook and said, I am going to make it so the entire world is trying to figure out who I am, and I do not feel safe ever. I cannot sleep without thinking, he's not paranoid in the sense that he's a nervous wreck, but he's paranoid in the sense that he is very much just always like, this is my plan, it will work, and I want everybody to be after me so I can defeat them through my design so I can be God. Like, it's literally, everything that he does is like a bad decision in regards to like, you would not want to do this for your mental sanity, but he does all these things and he plans it. So he's not being thwarted till the end.
Yeah. Well, that was part of why I thought maybe possibly we could focus our attention to SEE on that matter.
Sure.
Because now we're kind of looking at what somebody's doing within the whole scope of where they're going to take a particular idea and push it forward. Like, let me think now.
That does make sense. I get what you're saying. Like, because I've always found that SE base and mobilizing often get kind of like, that's just sort of a thing where people have to. Yeah. Those ones are tricky. They really are.
It's more or less because he's focusing on this grand vision, but at the same time, he's not really looking at every single consequence, right? But he is attempting to. And we do see that he's actually putting every little thing into place just so he can get it just right, so he can reason himself through and get to the top of the whole system, right?
Yeah.
And he's not doing it out of any systematized order necessarily. He's more or less just kind of going through and winging it, right? It's not really. He's playing with the chaos more than he's doing anything with it.
Are you sure? Because I mean, the whole thing where he like relinquishes the death node and all that stuff. I mean, again, that's the main part that kills SE for me, just in regards to that. It's literally he relinquishes complete power. If something went wrong with that whole entire plan, then it all would have fell apart and he would have been none the wiser because he didn't have the memories. That's just where I stand on it personally. And then also an issue I have with SEE, and if this is the one, I'm not prideful about this. I just like discussing the realism behind the types with each characters. It's just that one. Again, I'm somebody that used to self-type as SEE, and often things people would say to me is, there's no way you're TI polar because you kind of like, they're not saying I'm super TI base, but they're like, Jonah, there's no way that you don't value TI because you can you understand how these things work, and you think that you do feel as though this is an important facet of life. It's good for people to have qualities of being able to systemize things, organize things, and essentially what we see in the show, quite frankly, because I like being examples guy, he really hates L. L is trying to take him down and all this stuff, and we also have to debate sometimes whether L is this type or this type. I frankly think he's very clearly LII. And it makes sense that a TI base and a TI suggestive in this situation would make more sense than TI polar, because this is to say that it's 1D, yes, with both, but it is something that is valued or unvalued. And frankly, throughout the entire show, the only thing that he really valued about L, like, you know, in just the sense, is he was like, he is a TI god, you know, he is like, he can deduce anything, and that's really what, they weren't friends, but Light was like friends with his TI, so frankly, I don't see how he could not value it or have it polar.
And yeah, I do agree with you that L was LII.
Yeah,
so.
he has. What do you think about Nier? Maybe if you want to talk about more characters, but we don't have to go away from Light Yagami. I'm just curious because I think he's ILI personally. I know that one's somewhat controversial because I hear some LII.
He actually did come off to me as an LII as well.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
That is, oh man, because this one's honestly harder. Maybe we could discuss Nier instead of Light Yagami for now, because this one maybe I don't have as fleshed out of an opinion on. Like Light Yagami, I'm not gonna bullshit. Like I truly feel as though anybody argues with me on that one, if they truly are like this could not make sense, I will totally change my mind. But I've seen the show so many times. I'm really not that good at socionics, but what I do know, I'm okay. But what I do know is it's just I've thought he was like literally before I even knew socionics all that well. I thought he was EIE because of everything else makes sense, but I didn't really know what SI meant. So I was like, the only thing that doesn't make sense is he's like, you know, tinkering with his watch and doing all these like fucking things where he's coming up with stuff. And if people define SI as just stuff like that, and they're like, if he has the capability to do this, he can't be SI, then that does kind of kill it. But back then, I thought SI just meant that, and then when I learned it wasn't, I was like, oh yeah, he is totally EIE. So we could talk about Nier. So why do you think LI?
Just basic mannerisms. Just how he kind of approaches things, and just the basic. He seems to be putting things together a lot more heuristically, you know. Whereas, what was the other character he was with? I can't remember his name. Mello. There you go.
Sure.
Mello was more of a hands-on guy, so Mello would Mello would get an idea and he would go do it, and then Nier would adjust things, and you know, he was more or less making the plan as every reaction to what Mello was doing during the whole thing, right? So.
Okay. I do see that definitely, but what I will suggest is, you know, I just learned how to do socionic stuff like a couple months ago, so I'm not that great, but like LII, correct, is TI base and then any creative, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so with that, what I would say personally is totally the kind of TI base thing. It's even a thing where really, and whatchamacallit, fucking, I think he's ILI personally. And with that being said, I believe that would be TI demonstrative. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah.
So with that being said, it's like we're kind of just saying, yeah, he's probably TI 4D, no doubt. Value or unvalue, I don't even really want to get into that right now. But essentially, it's just then you take that kind of thing right there, and you're just like, okay. Then we go to the intuitive. It's like, is he an NI guy or is he an NE guy? And just quite frankly, I think the fact that he kind of played Light's game and did this NI thing too, but kind of was almost like it's a little bit of speculatory. I have to assume stuff, but like I think it's kind of funny to be like Light Yagami was EIE and he had NI creative. Nier, frankly, just kind of out-NI'd him. I think that's what it is, but that's not the only reason. He's very much NI in the way that he is just always planning in kind of this quiet way. Like, I see the FE polar, I see the NI base. It just makes sense in the fact that he's able to think, you know, then we'll do this, and we'll do this. And then blah, blah, blah. Like, that stuff is very NI to me. And then the TE aspect is not only the fact, you know, creative, not only the fact that, you know, he's proven to be very competent, very rich, and just like, you know, all this stuff. And again, that surface level, so that's not true. And I'm just saying, like, that's how I'm leading into this. But also the fact, I mean, just in the argument for Light Yagami, too, it's a lot of people are just like, yeah, that he might be LIE because he pieces all this stuff together. Well, what Nier did was not only piece everything together just from like a mental planning standpoint, but he also was just like, okay, I'm going to use this guy, the Giovanni, the guy that copies the notebook. He's like, I'm going to use him to do this and scout him. I'm going to use the, other people I work with in the SBK to do this and that and that and that. It's just, he's literally just NIing and TEing all over the place. And we could talk about the weaknesses too all day. The FE Polar shows he has no presence in any sort of situation where he's shown physically whatsoever. Everybody around him is just kind of listening because he has this, plan that's very quiet. He's like, oh no. It's just with me, that one shows personally, and we could get into any of the other functions of it if you want. But that's like my kind of like thing for why I think he's ILI over LII. I just don't really see SE Polar as evident too, because he is very much determined. There's 2 specific scenes, if you'd like to show me, or if you'd like me to show you ever, where Nier, it looks very, very like visceral in the fact that he wants Light to die. And I'm not saying that he's an SE anything. That's not what we're saying, that he's an SE base or anything. I'm just saying SE Polar with him would make not as much sense, quite frankly, because he does show the volition and the want, and he is leading the whole thing to catch Kira, and he does win. But it's just the FE Polar, that one would make a lot of sense for him, let's be honest.
Why don't you bring up those video? Can you stream those?
Yes, I would love to, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do. I'm a big visual guy, so let's actually do this.
Yeah.
And I will be transparent too with you. If this makes you uncomfortable, I should have let you. I'm so sorry. I was testing with the recording and stuff like that earlier, just to kind of get a sense for the sound and everything. So it has been recorded, but genuinely from the bottom of my heart, I could even screen share this too if you do not want to be I feel bad because I accidentally.
I don't even care.
Okay,
don't worry.
But what I'm saying, that's a good thing though, because if you did want, I do upload on YouTube as well. This might not be. I'm kind of just experimenting. I'm seeing volume levels. I've just kind of been playing music in the background. So the talks that we're having, literally as soon as we're done, if you were okay with me posting this, and I also will stream, and everybody will see this. This will essentially just be a talk, and I can do it through my channel's popularity or my server's popularity, and the channel. I'm trying to grow the channel, and then I could literally promote your literally at the end of this or right now, or you could just scream, join my server at Typology Land, blah blah blah. Just tell them how to do it. Plug yourself as much as possible, and we can both grow together and have these talks. I think we have a good conversational chemistry, even though I kind of monologue. But yeah, I'll stream the video right now. I love doing this where we kind of take a look at things. So
okay,
for Nier personally, let's take a look at and we could go through Death Note and be like, okay, yeah, that might not show SE anything, but I'm just saying, frankly, I think the fact that it's kind of let's look at 2 scenes actually specifically, and we won't watch the whole thing. Let's see, Nier Light shooting. God, this is gonna be hard to find. I spelled it wrong. Or no, we'll just do Nier deleted scene, because this is it's a real canon Death Note, I think. But it's just something that's wait, Nier Death Note deleted. They basically did a bridge version of the entire movie, where it's kind of here.
It would be careless to assume that Kira is in hiding right now.
Oh wait, this is alternate ending. Is this gonna be actually hard to find? That's gonna piss me off. Let me make sure it's recording and everything, because that's the whole thing. I want to post this and just kind of let people know what we're doing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be literally. I don't think I make a fool out of myself when I talk all the time. So just don't feel like you have to, But okay, let's just 9. I hate that I have to find it like this.
There's a further reason why I think to myself that I need to edit videos. Every video.
I just really don't want to put this on YouTube, and people I don't want people to think that I'm just going to all these illegal sites to watch this. I would watch this on Netflix for everybody listening, but it will completely blur out any sort of recording for both him, myself, and the video. So I'm trying here. I'm just not very good with tech. Let's see. Death Note Nier. Let's see. Death SPK. Because it's just SPK. Remember? Oh, here it is. Nier is pissed. Okay, so. Again, I will shut the fuck up and let you watch, I promise. With this, they took the entire series of Death Note and the creators of it, condensed it into a 2-hour movie, and this is one scene they put in the movie that's not in the show. So this is one I'm just just the look in his eyes and kind of the want to actually exact his plan, frankly, doesn't seem the most SE Polar thing I've ever seen, but I have one more scene after this.
Kira.
Daryl Morkley. John Skyner. Adolph Tucker. Elixon Gardner. Kurt McBride. And Il Rat.
An alias, huh?
Near! Look out!
This part's also objectively badass.
Near. Put him through.
What's wrong? Why isn't he saying anything? Near, are you there? Hello? Please respond. Did something happen? What's the matter, Near?
Okay, so with that, and I know what you might say if you're like Jonah, that means, or King Hyena, that means nothing. He is not doing anything. I get that it's just phrased in, or it's shown in a dramatic way, but it does tie into actuality, because when he does say at the end, he kind of basically just dances on Light's grave, kind of like how Light does on L. He's like, no, you're just a murderer, blah, 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 blah. But through me and L, we fought together and beat you. It's just like, it's genuinely, he had some sort of a SE that's not polar, in my humble opinion. I just think it's to the intensity of that scene, and it's not very Alpha Quadrant.
Stare.
Huh?
That stare was a very NI stare.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So, yeah, you kind of...
Now, the only issue I have with that is that as an NI stare, that would have been a reaction to what had happened to him. He has just been in a life-threatening situation. So now he's switched from where he normally would have been into an absolute I hate and I want to kill kind of mode, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So usually when people do that, though, they're well, are you familiar with Forsyth's dynamics?
With what?
Forsyth's dynamics.
No, I'm basically like just a Model A super duper novice person that kind of knows the functions, know the IM elements, some dichotomies. Like, genuinely, just I'll tell you if I know it or not. That one I do not.
Okay. Well, anyway, this was something that C.S. Joseph brought from another system and promoted through his own system.
Yeah.
But it's something that I think seems to hold very true to a lot of things, and that is when people go through particular instances, they will often switch to, I guess, what you would call the shadow side of the mind, or what Freud would call the super ego.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and when you switch to the super ego, it's kind of like your functions are flipped and inverted. Okay.
Okay.
So you're no longer dealing with necessarily TINE SIFE. You're dealing with pretty much an FI DOM or something like that.
Okay.
You know, or something along those lines. But then you're not necessarily dealing with an NI or an NE utilizing individual anymore. You're dealing with an NI utilizing individual. You know? So you'll see the expression of NI through the NE person than you would normally see in that particular situation. So that would be my argument for that.
Okay. Let me I'm kind of piecing, so they're always going to be like that. I just like, because the way I go about it, at least, dude, is like I am probably never gonna know as much about the intricacies of socionics of like this and that and this and that. So I just kind of I've created this. It may seem misguided, but I've essentially just done. I've kind of learned Model A. So as you see, I can literally go through with you on the Wiki Socion if you were watching, and tell you exactly like my credentials or what I know. I know that what NI in program function is. Now, this is to say that I pretty much can say what program function would be, what creative, demonstrative, ignore. Like, I know all these. I know the IM elements. I know what the types would kind of be and where everything would be based on the patterns. And I know the intertype relationships, dichotomies such as rational, irrational, the static and dynamic, I think I've heard, but I don't really think about that one that much. So just stuff like that I know, and then I know how to. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. So I say I am weak, but in regards to like I am not a rationalizer in regards to my pride and being like, hey, no, I am right. No, you're this actually blah blah blah. No, I'm right. Like I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people that's simply based on what I know and using my rules. It's like that's how I rationalize type. So again, just with him. It's like what I know of type and kind of how I do this. I could be dead wrong. I'm just kind of trying to make funny content where we can discuss characters and shit like that. With NI personally, with Nier, and I think what's funny is Nier is honestly my favorite character in Death Note. Light is not. So this one I actually have more of an interest of just being genuine. If he's LII, then he's LII, and if you can rationalize that to me. I'd even be so far as say, fuck it, I don't care if he's LI or ILI, I just think he's a cool character. But just trying to pay respect for the character and doing my system, I frankly just see that he does almost NIOM over almost everything. And we could take a look at try to look at more examples of just the character. Not necessarily disagree about the sociotype, but just watch the character and then say more stuff if you want to do that.
Yeah, why don't we dive into this character a bit more? Because he is an interesting subject. Yeah.
He's so cool, and you know what? I hate to monologue, but it's kind of good because we can make an awesome video together right now. With Nier personally, I think that the dude is just straight up badass. He often gets mocked and everything because everybody's like, he's not L. He is like lame compared to L. And what I say to them is L is literally like a 20 whatever year old. It's gonna be an L diss real quick. L is like a 20 whatever year old dude that just puts his finger in his mouth, freaks out over it. He freaked out when he realized what Shinigami were. He literally screamed. He like kind of let life like emotionally manipulate him a little bit, but not quite. And L just dies. What Nier comes into play, which is he's the psychotic, but not in a like overt way. He is just very much just removed, detached from everything, and is just a being of thinking and winning. And he's just this little 14-year-old kid that does not give a fuck about anything. And it is so fucking cool to see in every conceivable facet, no matter how smart Light is. Nier just is like, no, I'm a little smarter. And that's how Light loses the entire show. I think that is so badass, and that's why I'm really just genuinely from the bottom of my heart happy that we're talking about the character of Nier rather than Light, because I love Nier so much more. I just didn't really think about it that much, so this is fun. Yeah, hold up. So let's watch this and see if this... Because for future reference, if you did want to do this more regularly, I would be absolutely enthused, my man. But it's just I'm pretty much available kind of whenever, and I think what I'd do next time to make it work a little better is I would already have we could talk beforehand and have videos up at the ready, so I don't have to like I'm kind of just I don't want to go on like sites that I use I don't want to get like copyright crazied or anything, so I'll shut up about it. But I'm just trying to do this the legit way on YouTube. But next time I'll be like, for instance, let me show you this video, and it will be just like that. This I'm kind of having to think on the fly, but yeah.
Yeah, we could definitely do this. You know, because what I really want to do with this whole thing is I want to get more people into this server, into my particular server.
And they will, because you're a really smart guy, and I like that you're actually driving to improve your server. So I also will do everything in my power to get people here quick, because I think you're a cool guy, and I think your server's cool. The only thing legitimately is I haven't been here much, but it's because I got to work on mine. But we could pop in each other's more too, and to really do something cool.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
my major thing that I want to do, though, is I want to kind of break down every single facet of psychology that we haven't covered yet, so that we can get a full understanding of what every single aspect is, including such things as the Enneagram and touching back into Freud, things like that.
Okay,
You know,
I like that.
as well as considering where every single psychological disorder kind of sits on the spectrum. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I
Yeah.
think that makes so much, and that's also honestly a cool thing because I know next to nothing about like any of that stuff. I'm just kind of a freak savant at analyzing characters and intricacies of people for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I can kind of I basically like I approach this typology stuff not necessarily like I'm trying to win because I don't have any pride, and I'm kind of just like you. I'm trying to figure out the truth behind the psychology. If it's not real, I have no ties to that, and I don't feel bested by any of these people. But it's kind of I feel as though it challenges us and it pushes us to be smart with this when we kind of treat this like a court of law. If we're like, my case is this for this person says this, and we don't punch each other over it. We let kind of a jury decide, or we just like literally just kind of like debate, and then if we don't agree, then that's that. So I personally just like to treat this like a game of chess, and I'm not trying to defeat anybody by arguing type. I frankly like when I agree with people on the type, because then we can just be like, yeah, this character is badass, because they're literally like, you know, if we did agree on Nier being let's actually, because I think honestly, I'm starting to realize that with the Nier, I think you know more about typology than me, and I'm not saying I know more about Nier than you, but it's just like from what I know, I just, at least where I'm standing, I still would say ILI, but what we could do is we could find a character that we both agree on in Death Note, maybe. I'm not trying to say we only gotta do Death Note characters. I just frankly have not seen many anime, and this would be kind of a cool topic. So, what are some other like character sociotypes? You think yeah, like maybe
Are we just going to focus on? Are we just going to focus on Death Note, or are we going to touch into other anime?
That's what I was saying. Is like honestly, we can do other anime, but I think it might be best for me to list anime that I'm familiar with, because you know, if you say JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, I'll say I do not know a single character from that show. I am sorry, so I can't. You know, I'd love to listen to you talk. I just do not know. But like, I've seen. Yeah, I've seen like.
Have you seen? Let me think. Demon Hunter.
No.
No.
I'm really like, it is a lot. If you want to make this easy on yourself and like, so you're not guessing the ones that I just.
Dude, I think we got to set up some like anime nights.
No, that's totally fine. But I will tell. Okay, so like mid 2000s to late 2000s, like Shonen Jump anime, I pretty much am familiar. So One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Death Note is, I don't know if it's technically Shonen Jump, but it's Death Note as well, Fullmetal Alchemist, and then the kiddie ones like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and like Elfen Lied, and just a couple of other niche ones, but mainly the main like Bleach, Naruto, One Piece, all those characters I could totally play this with you.
Elfen Lied. Oh, that's...
Elfen Lied, I'm not that, like, I've seen it like once or twice too, so if we're gonna debate Lucy, I just know that she's kind of crazy, but... Preferably like One Piece, Naruto, anything like that. Fullmetal Alchemist, I've seen all of those, so we could. Fullmetal Alchemist would be kind of good if you do know it. I do like that show a lot as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anime nights, I love that. I love the way you think.
Yeah. Every now and then, I come up with a good idea.
Yeah.
So.
But let's see. So, what are you thinking of anime that?
Well, I think the next time we do this, we're definitely going to have to go over a particular anime, but go over a particular character, and I'm going to have to really pull my britches up before we actually tackle this sort of thing again.
No doubt,
and focus on a particular character and how he plays out, because I really want to break each single character down so that we can come to an idea of what every single aspect of that character necessarily means. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, and we can argue it from not just the socionics point of view or the MBTI point of view, but we can argue it from multiple different points of views. But I mean, from what I can see, it at least needs to be generally specific within what it should be, what we believe the character to be, you know, and from there we can actually possibly rebuild a better understanding as we go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I think that's going to be super important. We might want to try to pick out a single character from each type and try to break that down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, again,
So-
it would all just be about stuff that, like, you know, the characters I am familiar with. So, like I'd say, we don't even really have to argue or, like, debate about the type. Just genuinely, like, if you've seen One Piece or Bleach or Naruto. Maybe Naruto. I mean, literally, like, I feel like everybody knows Naruto characters, so we could maybe talk about some Naruto characters if you've seen it. It'd not have to be like, dude, you're wrong about this. Just be like, okay, this is something.
The only thing I haven't touched into is Boruto.
That's fine. I'm like a Naruto noob. I literally just watched the first couple of, like, you know, I watched the first series, so I didn't watch Shippuden, but I've played the video game, so I'm like, okay, this is just like a new character and everybody else has grown up. So I get that completely, so I know the characters. So what's just a character you like from Naruto, I guess?
Just a second here.
Yeah, no worries. I could even, you know what I might do just to kind of show people PDB, because I'm under the assumption I'm trying to bring a lot of people to, you know, our community and stuff like that and show them what this is really about. So I'll show them some of the tools we use as well.
Okay.
So
What would be your opinion on Hinata Hyuga?
Hinata Hyuga, sure. Let me pull up Naruto Shippuden, and for everybody watching, this is just so we can have a bank of characters. I'm not going to be using this to rationalize my type. Hinata, let's see.
Yeah.
So she is a character that is very much does like Naruto, and she can. I mean, it's really right where I'm leaning. It's like I think she might be like an EII, but that is like very surface level, just based on stereotypes, and we can actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I actually do 100% agree with you.
She like just kind of can't be anything else, really, because it's like it's like she is defined by her SE polar, you know.
Yeah. She is the stereotypical EII from everybody's idea of what EII is. So
I'm actually going to do something that you might enjoy, because I think you probably are more like you want like this stuff to get big. I'm kind of like I just want to show people my creativity. But what I'm going to do is we're going to click on Hinata Hyuga, PDB, and we're going to compare the EII, which is what we agree and what this says, and what she probably just literally is, and we're going to look at the second most likely type. So we have SEI right here. So I'm going to kind of show people that are watching this. Let me make sure it's still recording. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm going to show people exactly how we kind of do this thing, because I don't feel like a genius when I do this. So let's click on SEI on wikisocion.com, and again, we're using personality database and YouTube. Please do not take this video down. I'm trying everything in my power to be legit about this. Anyway, that's for the audience. So SEI right here. Boom. So I'm gonna you're the socionics guy. I'm just the character guy that's recording. Why don't you first EII? You can see on the screen as well. Why don't you just tell the people why Hinata is this type and rationalize it based on just teaching typology?
Okay, well, considering how Hinata Hyuga tends to go through things, she seems to be very unwilling to actually affect the physical world in any particular way, for fear that there will be a lot of repercussions to it.
No doubt.
Okay. Yeah. So just that thing alone just kind of screams SE polar, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wait,
so
are you guys talking
basically-
about how Hinata is a INFP?
Yes. Would you like to participate?
Yeah.
Goodness. Yeah. So what
I'm on this train because I absolutely think she's an INFP. She's way ooh-woo.
So what I'm going to do real quick is, instead of comparing the types outrightly, you were kind of noting on like the SE polar with her, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to show these people, and it's, again, we can disagree on our own personal opinions on the theory, but this is just what Wikisocion is, and I literally, I guess what I'm trying to tell the audience, by the way, we are recording, random dude that joined. I cannot see who you are, but hello.
This is Gaia. Yeah.
Okay, hello Gaia, what's up? Anyway, what I'm showing the people right now is, look, you don't have to be a genius. Everybody can do this and get into it. The right way to do this is simply come to, this dude's server, which is Psychology Land, and I'll put it in the link down below for sure. You can also come to my server, Monsoon. I would love every single person that is watching this to come to both of our servers so you can learn from us both on our various ways we do this. But what I'm showing everybody right now, and I'll stop monologuing, is that Wikisocion, you literally have to go to this, find out how all this stuff works, and then you can find, you're like, okay, so what does FI program mean? Which is just base. You would go in here, you could look up all this stuff. I'm getting too confusing. I don't want to overcomplicate. I want everybody to look at the site, come to our servers, and we teach you in a way that works. But what he is saying right here, and what I'm just going to let him explain rather than myself, is he is saying that she is SE vulnerable, which just means polar. So we're going to go here and see what Wikisocion says about SE polar. So you can read this and say that you don't agree or you agree, but this is just saying that with her, this is how this would show in real world terms. So I'm going to shut up and you go.
Oh, jeez. Can't quite read that for a second.
I'm so sorry. If you do want to actually read it and it's not really integral, I'm just showing the people, and it does seem it might be blurry on my end too. I'll fix that.
SE is vulnerable. The individual tends to overreact to aggressive and confrontational behavior, taking it as a personal threat when it may only be a knee-jerk reaction as a result of a bad mood.
I'm sorry. I'm doing this. I'm just trying to make it easier for you by zooming in.
No problem. He tends to avoid intruding on others' space or engaging in behavior that may be perceived or conceived. What?
I think it says be perceived as coercive. Again, real quick before you read more, do you want me to keep it as is and we just try to read this together, or do you want me to zoom in once more? Because I can do either.
No, it's fine as it is.
Awesome.
Right now.
I'll shut up. You go.
And tries to handle his needs by being disciplined and well prepared himself, rather than relying on others to do things for him. If these strategies fail, his efforts at dealing with the resulting conflict make him look actively pushy in a way that appears awkward or unnatural to others. This opens him up to painful criticism and feelings of weakness and helplessness. He is able to moralize and instruct others about what they should do and why.
Yes.
But he is not prepared for others' active resistance or refusal to do as he says. In his mind, this would require him to put aside reason and good feelings and simply make the other person do what is necessary. This is extremely difficult, if not impossible, for him to do.
So yeah, that's basically that's what it says about this, and I'll kind of zoom out because y'all literally just heard him say it, and if you want to hear him say it again, or just read it, because this is just what Wikisocion says, y'all can rewind. Yeah. But yeah, all he's really saying is that at least the common person, without us even hand-holding you and showing you how this works, you could go to Wikisocion, look at this, and say, what does this mean? And then click on, I'll show everybody again. You literally just click on one of these doohickeys, and you go to I am element, and then one of these, and just figure out what these mean, and then simply look. Same exact place. Just, that's how you go to it. And you can take any of these types and just read this. If that doesn't make sense, you can kind of just go through it and be like, okay, based on what I know, would it make more sense like this? Just read a broad description and be like, is this how it works? Is this how it works? And this isn't like the best way to do it. I'm not saying this, but this is how to at least have a starting point. So you're like, yeah, probably SE polar with her, right? Because you more or less are just like, yeah, she doesn't show it, doesn't value low dimensionality.
Yeah. She doesn't seem to value it at all. She seems to avoid direct confrontation with SE where she can. Mind you, there is a lot about her character that I thought was kind of interesting in that she was... you remember the scenes where she did their dancing at all?
Not quite. We can try to find it, because that's all I'm doing. I'm looking up videos so we can show people. So if you want to do a specific one that I look up, and I could try to find, be my guess. What do you want me to look up something specific with her? I can
Not
try.
necessarily.
Okay.
It was just there was a particular a particular show where she had actually been dancing in the moonlight or something like that, and she was showing off how graceful she could be, which was actually kind of an interesting thing to see this character go through. It was kind of like she was pushing to develop this particular part of herself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it looked like so this is something that she was really into because of that. So, which if we go and we look how people tend to react and how people tend to grow, this does not actually seem to come off as a direction that's not impossible. In fact, that's a very probable thing for somebody of that particular type to do.
Yes.
You know, so.
No, that makes sense, definitely. It looks like we have 2 videos I might want to play. We have one was just like best Naruto, yeah, like this one, best Naruto and Hinata moments, and then we have one with her and Sakura. It looks like I frankly don't know what happens in either of these, so just do you have a lean? It really doesn't matter. You can just I'll do the bottom, or you can if you have an idea, we can go with that one, but.
Yeah, let's see if
Okay,
see
wait, no, this guy actually has a legit like thing made, and I'm not touching that with a 12-foot pole. I do not want to get copyright strike, so we're gonna do the other one. And yeah, this person, yeah, thank you, this person. This other person could be an outstanding person. I just am looking out for myself.
Oh, so when you're embarrassed.
And I would, hey, by the way, dude, if this gets taken down or anything, it's saved on my end. We'll edit it, clean it up, and it'll still be content. Just letting you know.
Awesome.
When you're
Sounds good.
ecstatic.
Naruto!
And when you're angry?
Naruto! Upset. Naruto!
Worried.
Naruto!
Worried is good there. That's literally like an EII kind of like, oh no, I can't. Yeah.
Scream it out!
Naruto! Why treat us heroines differently? Why? Let's get down to business already. I can do this.
You're embarrassed.
This is actually, I apologize to everybody. This literally shows us nothing. This is probably going to be good, actually. I think this genuinely... I've never seen this, but that literally just... She said the word Naruto about 3 times. I'm like, holy moly. This might... Okay, so this is like a flashback. Oh, no, I actually got one. I am so sorry. Hinata... Because I like fighting. I don't like all this talking shit. Let's see. Hinata versus Neji. If I remember how this goes, this is essentially like... Gets fucking... It basically just shows how she, even when she's fighting, she's kind of...
Whoa, this stuff Hinata gave me works fast!
It's the power of the nine-tailed fox. It never ceases to surprise me.
Kiba? Here's some healing ointment. It's for you and Hakamaru.
Just you and Choji, Neji, Lee, and then there are those 2 guys from the Sound and Sand
just
villages.
so strong eye in it.
Be smart and just walk away.
All right. We'll now pick the names for the next match.
Hey, Gaia, would you mind muting your mic, please?
Sure. I'm sorry. You're getting background. Give me a second.
Nor I, brother. What'd she call him? Brother? Those 2 are brother and sister?
In the way a branch of a great tree is related to its trunk.
Directly descended from the head of the clan.
All this mess.
Well, Neji's family has been friction.
Begin when ready.
You know you were never meant to be a ninja.
Okay, so by the way, Neji, just surface level, he might be like ESI or something. I'm not saying that for certainty, just kind of showing people how we don't have to fixate on one character. It can be like, you know, this person maybe to this person maybe. Doesn't have to be, you know, don't go bankrupt if we're wrong about a speculation.
Confidence. You feel inferior to everyone else here, and you couldn't bear to let your teammates down. Could you?
Or LSI maybe, I don't know. But...
Hinata. Very well then, I will take Hinata under my wing.
Do what you will.
And even I'm just kind of using this opportunistically. Another way this shows how she is kind of like EII and just in a stereotypical way is literally in all these scenes where she's in, she's kind of just everybody's like talking over and her explain. She's very just not SE at all. She's just not there. Yeah. She's very meek. Meekness is kind of like an SE polar tie-in.
Yes.
Hinata,
I'm
are
literally
the
having to
pampered
skip. I'm
offspring
literally having to skip through and find scenes where she's actually talking because she's so fucking docile and meek.
of the Hyuga's main branch.
Listen to this guy!
And why they're
Naruto probably
outcasts.
SE in my opinion.
We can change our physical appearance.
Yeah.
Just as I must live with the fact that you were born into the elite of our clan, while I am from a lesser branch. What you're really thinking is that you'd like to run. Run as far away from here as you can.
God.
They say the Uchiha clan's Sharingan was derived from the Byakugan sometime long ago.
Byakugan! In the slightest of movements, your gaze drifted toward the upper left corner of the room. It was a mere flicker of the eyes, but to me it revealed all of your mental and physical suffering. You see yourself losing. It tells me that you're trying to build a wall between us, to keep me at bay. That familiar gesture of putting your finger to your lips. You are what you are. Whether you admit it or not, you already know.
Who gave you the right to tell her what she can or can't be? Go on, Hinata!
Okay, so again, we're gonna go Hinata moments, because again, she is very meek and just getting talked over by everybody. So I'm trying, but we have the SEE and the maybe ESI Neji, the SEE Naruto, maybe whatever Neji. They are just basically just, "Arr!" And she is like, huh? You know.
That is.
Yep.
So let's actually see them fight, because you know we gotta give people at least some content. It's cool, right? So she's kind of trying. But I do remember she gets kind of fucked up.
Yes, she does.
And again, by the way, for future videos, we'll figure out the best way to kind of go through stuff. And if you hate that I'm pausing or like it, we'll work that out, me and you. But for everybody watching, this is literally the first time I've tried this.
I'm not done yet.
Now I see why he's called the most gifted one to emerge from the Hyuga.
How the attacker strikes the chakra points.
So let's see if she actually. Oh yeah, wait. So these are.
Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm gonna beat every one of you. Believe it.
Are you trying to get everybody in the post?
Oh, this is like pulling teeth with her.
So okay, we fuck. She's kind of a boring character, is what I'm realizing. She just kind of gets tossed around and dies, but. Yeah. Anyway, you can either talk more about EI or we can do other stuff for other characters. I am totally fine with
Well, I mean that's basically EII in a nutshell, though. Quite literally, this is exactly the kind of reaction I would expect from a person of that type. So
that's what it kind of is all about. Honestly, I'm a big. I love movies and characters and the symbolism behind everything. Genuinely. So what I do is I'm simply saying this is hilarious that and also we can use PDB. This is not exact. It is just voting, but it's a nice easy way to just say like I know this type, and like for instance, let's go to EIE, or we'll just click on whatever. Fucking I found it randomly. Do not know any like Loki. If people say Marvel, Loki, and you can say he's kind of an EIE, but he could be something else. So that is how this is done. You just look at this character, and you're like, okay, so let's see stuff about Loki. You go, again, Wiki Socion, do all this stuff, learn what this stuff means, and then be like, okay, yes, I do or do not agree with that. And you can do this on your own. You don't need PDB. It's just kind of a nice starting point. And that's why in my server, too, I have a specific channel that says Personality Gallery. And my server, that channel did get deleted accidentally, but as of now, I am repopulating it. So essentially what I do is I just copy-paste characters that I find interesting. Loki, oh my goodness. What just happened? Okay. I genuinely hate that computers do that. I would just copy and paste this link up here, put it in my server on a specific channel, and to not make this overcomplicated, because I'm not a tech guy, I could show you right now on Discord, it just literally on the thing. It shows it. it's just a straight up just list of characters I find interesting, and you can click on to do the own thinking yourself. Now, I will say Omni Anthrax, maybe I think the next video, just so I can make sure that it accurately portrays our servers, what I would like to do is, if you want to do another video at some point, I could literally show people our Discord servers, what they look like, because they're honestly pretty fucking cool. Y'all can't see it that are watching this right now, but it's, let me actually like just tangibly look at your server. Yeah, this guy, it's literally like there's emotes, right. It looks all awesome, and there's cool people here, trust me. Same with mine. As a matter of fact, it's literally, we have people in our VCs right now, and I'm not even in mine, and we're doing this thing, so I'm a business guy kind of by whatever. I'm just trying to tell these people there's reasons to come here and yours, but let me get back to typology. Typology.
Yep, absolutely.
Typology, yeah, again, so we can just go and look up EIE, and we're like, this guy is totally EIE, and let's actually play this. We'll show the people in real time how we could kind of show the easy way to do this, and then you get better with it if you're interested. So just name a character, anything.
Okay. Why don't we take a look at another big bad? How about Thanos?
Thanos, nice, awesome.
Thanos, yeah.
So Thanos, look, everybody can do it. Go to Marvel MCU villains, and you see here it says LSI. Now, it is worth noting, and I'll let this guy explain if he wants to more in depth, but probably y'all are more familiar with like ENTJ, INTJ, ES, blah, blah, blah. That is MBTI, it's 4 letters. The stuff we do is just representing a similar concept using different notation and theories. Now, if you want to explain all that, how to make it more accessible.
Thanos is an INTP.
Yeah, so if you want to explain like the tie-in between like MBTI and socionics, any of y'all really, y'all should probably do that so people can understand a little better.
Oh, that's gonna have to be done in another video. Yeah, that's like a whole other topic, man.
That's totally fine, and just for the people that hear me, if you want the short answer, you can come to our servers and we will teach you the difference between MBTI and socionics, and they're really not so different after all. It's just kind of a different look at it, but it's easy to learn.
Yeah, it's definitely a different look at from a different perspective, but every single perspective does matter. So once we get all the perspectives together, we know exactly what each and every person is looking at. Then it's more likely we can actually come out with an actual reasonable understanding of what exactly we're really looking at.
Excuse me.
So, which is really what we want to do in Psychology Land, right? So, yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing of it, So, if you want, you come down to Psychology Land, come take a look, and you can discuss with us what we're doing and why we're doing it, and how we can actually push psychology forward into like a new realm, possibly even a golden age of psychology, if we can actually do that, which would be awesome. So yeah. That's pretty much it. That's my plug.
No, thank you, because that helps you out and me out, because people go to yours, the Psychology Land, and then mine is Monsoon. Literally, if y'all watch this video and say I hate the guy that runs the channel, his thing, you could literally just say fuck him and go to this other guy's server, and vice versa, if we're going to keep it fair. But I want y'all to come to both of our servers. Holy moly. Anyway.
Yep.
But I look stupid when I show like that, so let's go back to the real fun stuff. Thanos, yeah, it says he's LSI on here, so all this means is that he has been, more people have voted that he is this than anything else. So what we could do is the novice could say this site says he's LSI, and then simply go to this, and just, you could even Google it, I'll show you.
Yep.
LSI wiki Socion is this easy, and then the first one, and then you have this. So then we can look at Thanos, the LSI suggests on here, and then this is literally just LSI, no bullshitting, it is just 100% LSI because this is the theory, and then you learn what this stuff means, and the last thing is just knowing the character. So, Thanos, do I want to do the, I don't know if I want to look up Thanos because that's like Disney Marvel, but... It's
yeah, well, yeah, that's all right. We'll leave that one for the next time.
Scared to death. I don't want to die.
Yeah, I think we need to wrap this one up though for now. We can definitely come back to this though later and really break this stuff apart.
The video itself, you're ready to call it quits?
Yeah.
I am too. I'm totally, yeah. That's I like we just do a chat because I'm one of those guys. Literally, if you want to talk for 6 hours straight, I would have done it.
Mhm.
If you want to talk for 30 minutes, I would have done it. So this is just your thing.
Yeah.
We will stop it here. We can do a nice kind of exit and, just no good and well. I thought this was great, so let's keep doing this. And, yeah. Do you want to say something, then I can say something to close us out?
Alrighty. Well, anyway, so this again, Psychology Land is really a place where we just want to bring every single idea together and really congeal psychology into some sort of consistent system across the board. Not just your Enneagram, not just your MBTI, not just your socionics, not just your insert whatever random system you particularly want to talk about here. But to really get a full understanding based on each and every perspective, because each and every perspective down the line does end up becoming more valid as you go. So come to Psychology Land or come to Monsoon. I'll be available on either server, and I'll be more than willing to talk to anybody who has any particular ideas on anything that they would like to talk about.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I'm just going to close this out and say, yeah, that's all it's about. All types can be badass, and let's try to learn infinitely. All right. Later, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Like and subscribe.
King, you there?